Hello, I'm Rex Schaldhausen. Because things on the internet seem to lose their date references pretty easy. Today is Thursday, February 8th, 2024. It's been raining in Southern California quite a bit in the last 2-3 weeks. So we haven't been doing a whole lot of yard work or house work. We've been inside, and with that decided to set up our various model railroads and play with them a little bit. Haven't done it in a long time. Yesterday, on the 7th, we did HO, and a lot of these engines have not been run in 20 plus years. They've been sitting in a box, so we brought up a big board out of the workshop, set it up on a table, and then just put up a simple layout to run the engines we had. These are DC engines. They are the quote-unquote old technology, simple, easy, small transformer. They are not the new DCC stuff. So if you go on eBay or to a train swap or something, you can buy these engines for $2, $3, $4 a piece. And I've bought some of them for a couple of bucks. And the new ones, the DCC stuff, goes for 150 plus, and then you have to buy the special controller, which is 150 bucks plus, and I'll show you that. A lot more capability. My layouts are kind of simple. They're not the stuff you find in museums. I'm not going to go DCC. I'm going to stay with the simple, cheap stuff. And this is also on Quick Track, Atlas Tyco track. So the pieces, it takes 12 pieces to go 360 degrees, so there's joint issues. The switches are the cheap switches. Everything about this is how can I save money. So when they derail, it's a track issue, or in one of the cases, I think the pilot on the locomotive, the steam locomotive, is too light. It jumps when it hits any bumps right off the track. Anyways, we had fun with it. We were running this for probably an hour and a half, 2 hours, just kind of having fun with it. So let's move on. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. We love railroading, and it doesn't matter whether it starts with N, the smallest gauge we have, and goes up to G, the largest gauge we have, and then the toy stuff we have, or the real stuff. We enjoy it. And this is Super Bowl weekend coming up. I don't even know what date it's going to be. Today's the 8th, Thursday, Friday 9th, 10th, 11th, February 11th, and I'm not going to watch it. The Cubs aren't playing, and if the Cubs were playing, I probably wouldn't watch it anyways. I'm not a sports fan. Let's move on, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoy it. Using Amazon as a reference, here are two of the new DCC, Digital Command and Control, I think is what it's referred to as, systems. These are the starter kits, $200 plus tax. And then as you move into the locomotives, and this going back to Amazon just as a reference, the locomotive on the left and the locomotive on the right, the steamer and the Santa Fe engines, those are ready to run DCC at $200 plus or $198.24 for the diesel model on the right. That second one, that Bachmann SD40-2, the National Mexican Railroad one, that is DCC ready. The catch there is, once you buy the train for $111, then you have to buy the encoder board, take it apart, put the encoder board in, test it, put it back together, and then put it on your rails. That Bachmann, Thomas and Friends Percy engine, that's just a toy. This is expensive. I didn't go that way. I'm back starting my set in 1960 time frame, using little transformers and engines that you can now buy at swap meets for a couple of bucks. As I've said in previous videos, either where I started or the core of my model railroading is based on that little guy, that little Santa Fe Jeep 7 sitting in the bottom of this. Pretty much everything I do in model railroading is trying to go back to as close as I can to that little EMD, General Motors Electromotive Division, Jeep 7 low nose. So the high nose is ugly. The Jeep 9 high nose is what I ran for a local railroad. I think the high noses are just ugly. I try to go for the low noses as close as I can to the Jeep 7 or Jeep 9s. This is the guy who I will say started it all. This is the Jeep 7 or Jeep 9. The only difference between the two is the engine, as I understand it, the internal engine, the diesel, and how much power that diesel could put out. We just did some maintenance on this guy. He hasn't run in probably 20 plus years, but he has been brought out for display several times. And we just did some maintenance on him, cleaned out a bunch of material that was clogged around an axle, gave him a little oil, and he was new about 1960, so he is 64 years old. He's the mainstay of my stable. He's my #1 engine, and he's off and running. Maybe I'll give him a load to pull. Maybe I'll give him a consist. And now he has a consist, and he has a Santa Fe caboose. So it's a Santa Fe Jeep 7, most likely a Jeep 7, pulling to 3 freight cars and a Santa Fe caboose. And we have a derailed car that's going to cause a problem here, so I think I have to go take care of it. So the Santa Fe Jeep 7 is now running on the short loop, so to speak, pulling a consist, 4 freight cars and a Santa Fe caboose, and running really smooth. Most of these cars and engines haven't been run in 20 years or more, so pretty durable. This is my #1 engine, and when I go into other scales, this is the guy I'm trying to duplicate. The Jeep 38 in G was as close as I could get. A Jeep 20 in O was as close as I could get, and have yet to find a Santa Fe in S, and I'm not sure. I think I have one in N. I'll have to find out. Okay, this was fun. This is just temporary layout to get things to roll. Maybe I have one more engine to run. I probably bought this Santa Fe 2-axle switcher somewhere about 1964, so he's pretty old. I bought him because he's cute and he's just fun to run. I just have a ball with him, and he was having a ball here. This is a 2-axle Santa Fe yard switcher, and gave him a little cargo. He's pretty loud. I think he needs some preventative maintenance as well, periodic maintenance. But he's running, and he's doing a good job. He's just a fun little guy to run around. He is quieter going one direction than the other. I switched him from facing one way to facing the other way and sent him off on his long run here. Now I gotta get over to the other switch. We just put this up to have fun with it. If they're General Motors Electromotive Division units in Santa Fe colors, they probably have several major points in going for towards my model railroading. And here's an SW1500 switcher, which I'm not sure where I got it, when I got it, how I got it, but he was put on the railroad. He probably needs some preventative maintenance. This is a yard switcher. I just hooked it up to a couple of cars to have some fun with it. Runs pretty well. And right now its caboose is derailed. There's a couple of re-railers on the track, and the turnout actually re-railed it. I slowed them down, put them on that closed loop, whatever you want to call it, and the caboose keeps derailing. So I think as I work on my railroad, when I get to do some serious work on these, I think the caboose needs some ballast weight, because it literally flies off the track on the turns. But he's kind of fun to run. Model railroads are fun to run. And he's in Santa Fe colors, so he can't be all bad. I'm guessing that this is probably an F3, maybe an F7, F8, whatever. It's Electromotive Division, it's Santa Fe. It's, by its coloring, it's probably a freight system, so it's probably an F series. Don't know. But he was just running, so, and I like him. I'm not sure where I got him or when I got him, but he was up and running, having fun. This is an EMD, whether it's an F3, E7, E9, F9, F whatever, I don't know. I just know it's a Santa Fe EMD, and I just gave it a load. And it's running really nice, and we're just having some fun with it. It seems to want to die at this portion of the track, though. I don't think I've had these engines out in 20 or more years. Maybe I ought to clean this portion of the track and see what happens. Just a rainy day in Southern California. We've had 2.49 inches of rain from yesterday morning to this morning, and we normally get 9 to 11 inches a year, and we are well over our average annual rainfall. So just playing with model railroads for the first time in a long time. Another Electromotive Division. This is probably an E8, E9, somewhere in there. I imagine from, or assume from the coloring, that it was a Super Chief freight, like from Chicago to Los Angeles, and he was up and running and having fun for the first time in 25 years or so. This is another Santa Fe engine. I might have run them earlier. That's okay. F3, F8, E8, whatever. I think this guy was an engine on a passenger run by his color scheme, and there would have been silver and red cars to go with him. And he's just having fun on the short loop, and most of these I bought used or really cheap. They're all DC, direct current. None of them are DCC, so if you were to go on the market today, they'd probably be worth about $5 a piece. But I'm going to keep my entire layout as direct current. I'm not going to upgrade to the DCC thing. I just have fun running them like this. And this is just a temporary layout. I just brought this board up so that I didn't have to work down at ground level, and so that because this is open track, so that as the train runs, they didn't suck up lint off the carpet and drop dirt down in the carpet. So that guy's obviously getting busy. I'm going to give him a break. Now, because of a comment my wife just made, and before you think that's the train, this is one of the many accessories you can have. They're fun. And the last Santa Fe before we step off to something else was the steamer. And obviously stepping into a different era. Again, I have no idea where I got this train, but he's one of the simple guys, and the last model railroad swap meet that I went to, I saw one of these guys and I almost bought him. The guy wanted $10 for him. I looked in my wallet, I had about $8 left. I was going to start bargaining with him, and somebody stepped up and paid $10 and walked away with it. And mine has a train that goes with it, and the guy was selling the one at the swap meet for the same price with the full train. A steamer passenger train running on the close loop. Kind of fun. I can't tell you where I got this guy, and he just stopped over here for some reason. So this little feisty engine, we might catch a derail, because he derails on that turnout about once every 6 runs through it. And once he got warmed up, because he probably hasn't been running 20 plus years, once he got warmed up, he started running really nice. He's just kind of fun. Another EMD, whether it's an F3, E3, F7, F8, F9, I don't know. I just know that it's fun. Southern Pacific, and it's one of the few that I have that's a passenger train. So off and running. And we had a coupling come apart, so I think we'll put this guy away. Back into steamers. This guy was just fun. As he was running around, he didn't like his switches, didn't like the turnouts. He was jumping them and losing the cabooses, and part of that's the couplers have suffered some damage in the boxes and whatever else. So, but he's fun to run. It's a cute little steam engine. This is a steamer in our HO. This is just a throw together layout. Just kind of having fun with it. And I lost my caboose. Coupling came apart, so I've got to stop it. This train probably hasn't run in 25 plus years. It probably does need some maintenance, some lubrication, but it is fun. He's just running on the short loop right now. He runs pretty good in forward. He's a little noisy in reverse, and he derailed on the switch on the turnout. Oh well. Well, he finally shed all of his cars. He does not like that one turnout in the turnout position, and he takes it in forward just fine. Time to switch engines. We collectively, my granddaughter, my wife, myself, all enjoy model railroading. We all get involved with it. A couple of the videos you saw my wife operating the trains. My granddaughter will operate the trains. Later on, if we have more bad weather, I'm going to show you some of the other trains we've got. We've got one N gauge N scale that's going to be built today, and I just love this, and it's great therapy for keeping your mind and your hands busy doing stuff. Much better than sitting there watching the boob tube.